The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today. It's fantastic to have you join us. Today, we're going to discuss customer success best practices for 2023. My name is Bob Jakowski, and I'm the managing partner for On Demand Advisors. And look forward to having you join us today, and I will be your facilitator. I've had the good fortunate opportunity to be CEO for a number of public and private companies in Silicon Valley, and to lead those companies, to grow those companies, and to have great success. One of the things that I've learned along the way is the importance of customer success. Customer success is everything, really, when you think about it. It's not about serving customers, it's about helping them be successful. And so we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about best practices, and we're going to talk about how you can institutionalize that and bring that to life in your company today. So during our conversation and discussion today, I will be interviewing an expert in customer success, Reshma Nigam. So I'm very excited to have Reshma join me today. And in a few moments, I'll talk about Reshma's background and her credentials at this moment. For now, I'd like you to know that we're going to have this be this webinar is going to be very interactive. We love your questions, so please go ahead and post your questions. We are going to have a Q&A session toward the end of our webinar. So we want to make sure that we address any and all questions. So they're very important to us. So again, thank you for joining us. And let me introduce Reshma Nigam. Reshma is our keynote speaker today, and she is the CEO and founder of Markable Solutions. So Reshma has been an entrepreneur with a reputation for running many successful organizations and businesses. And she knows a ton about customer success and how to bring that solution to her clients. She's got a background in both customer success and marketing in Silicon Valley, and Reshma has a passion for helping businesses grow by acquiring new customers and delivering customer loyalty throughout the whole life cycle. So Reshma also has global expertise. So many of you are running global companies, and it's important to be able to reach those customers and serve them globally. And Reshma has in her organization operations in the Philippines, in India, and in the United States. So she truly does understand the global mindset and what it needs to serve the global customer. She founded Markable Solutions in 2014 with an aim of bringing these high-end solutions at affordable rates to small and medium customers. So keep in mind, no matter how big or large you are, you're a great fit for what we're talking about today.
Absolutely.
Now, Reshma has also worked for large companies and as well as startups in Silicon Valley. Before starting Markable Solutions, she worked at companies like Amdo, Frost & Sullivan. Reshma and I even worked together at Brightworks, which was an extraordinary experience, and many other organizations. She's very active in the causes for women and for the disadvantaged. She's been educated in both India and the United States and has an MBA from San Jose State University, where she is on the Dean's Advisory Committee. Now, a couple of notes about today. Markable Solutions is a leader in providing clients with what we talk about the three areas that are really important: client support, client success, and client upsell. And so obviously we're going to talk today primarily about customer success, client success, and strategies and implementation to get you where you need to be. But one of the things we're going to talk about today is this branded offering that Markable Solutions has brought to market called My Customer 360. And that's really an important name, My Customer 360, because when you're thinking about this, you're looking for a 360-degree view of your customer. And when we talk about that, we talk about customer service. So customer service obviously is what do you need to do to help your customers be successful with your product, your solution, or your platform that you offer today. And that's really addressing their needs, addressing their challenges, answering their questions. Customer success, which I think is vastly more interesting, if I may say so, is really about proactively. How are you going to engage your customers? How are you going to do some of the exciting things that Reshma is going to talk about today, which is engaging them proactively, meeting with them, driving a strategic relationship that's synergistic for you and for them, and helping them truly be successful in terms of the outcomes and the ROI that they want to achieve with your service or with your solution. And then another area, which is customer expansion that Reshma is going to talk about. And customer expansion is great because I always think about customer wallet share, Reshma, which is, what percentage of the wallet do you actually have today of your customer? And so customer expansion is great because it's all about increasing the investment that they have with you and doing that in a way because the solution in many cases is broader than what they've implemented today.
True.
So with Reshma, welcome to the our webinar. It's great to talk to you again today. And
Thank you.
one of the questions I think that's top of mind because we hear so many buzzwords today. We hear customer service, customer support, customer expansion, customer success, customer vitality. I mean, you hear it all. And
Yeah, that's true.
perhaps if you could, for our audiences, really share a little bit about what's the difference between customer service and support and customer success.
So, Bob, that's a great question. And thank you for doing this. And I'd like to welcome everyone who's attending today. Bob, customer success differs from customer support or service. And in the sense that it's reactive, your team gets involved only when a customer has an issue, not before. Also, customer support and service are both transactional. As soon as the customer's issue is resolved, the support service interaction terminates. And it's therefore purely a cost expenditure by your firm because you only want to get the customer relationship back to normal, back to positive. Customer success is opposite in almost every way. So I'm going to turn the video off so that we can concentrate on the slides, my awesome slides. So customer success, I was saying how it's opposite in almost every way. First, it's done regularly. Customer success interactions occur consistently. It's not by event. It's a continuous feedback loop. Secondly, it's done proactively. It's done to prevent issues, as we mentioned, not merely to respond to them. And third, the goal is to optimize the relationship with your client, customer, not respond to a problem that may have arisen, because that's not nurturing. That's not taking the relationship forward.
That's great, Reshma. Great differentiation between those two that many people are looking for. Help me understand and help our audience understand today, if you would, when customers and companies are looking to embark on the customer success journey, what are the steps that they need to take that would be important to them?
Well, the main reason people embark on a customer success plan is for three reasons. First of all, it's quite cost minimization, churn reduction, and as you mentioned, an opportunity to cross-sell and upsell. So in terms of cost minimization, companies typically will focus on acquisition more than retention, even though it costs 5 times more to acquire a new customer than to retain one. We are so focused on sales, we forget to sell to our own customers. Also, increasing customer retention by 5% can increase profits from 25 to 95. And that's not a number that you don't want to pursue.
That's amazing.
In fact, Bob, one customer experience agency found that satisfied customers are 5 times as likely to forgive a poor performance and 4 times as likely to refer, and as much as 7 times as likely to try a new offering. In fact, customer success reduces the need for support. With customer support, as I mentioned, you're responding to an issue. With customer support, you're preventing it from happening. And given that support begins with at least a mildly unhappy customer, the chance for failure is present, right? In fact, I believe that a customer interacting with customer support is a customer at risk. And this is because 71% of consumers we know have ended their relationship with a company just because of poor customer service. American Express has found that 33% of customers will consider switching just after one instance of poor customer service. And that's pretty large, pretty serious. And we also know that 61% of consumers will take their business to a competitor when they end a business relationship. And so while it is desirable to, maximize customer service efficiency, it's better to mitigate these issues proactively. And I'll tell you an instance that happened with me. I have a support company, a company for whom we do customer support. And I happened to start using their product. And it went very well for a year. And now and then I drifted away and we started using we just stopped using that product for some time. And then the pandemic happened. And after the pandemic, we wanted to get back to that product that we were using, product and service that we were using. And you won't believe they had completely forgotten about us, even though the support was happening from my own premises. We couldn't get back. In fact, I tried several times. All I got was go on the computer, log in again, check your password, it might not be working, all these silly mails I got. And then we just gave up and went and got another customer, another client. You can imagine if I'm doing it and I'm doing it to somebody for whom I'm providing customer support, you can imagine how serious it is.
That surely is. That is really serious.
And finally, the success program is an excellent way to upsell and cross-sell. You being such a successful salesperson know that the success rate of selling to a customer is 60 to 70%, while the success rate of acquiring one, and we all know that, is just 5 to 20%. So why would you neglect your customer? Why would you not nurture them? Why would you not keep them happy continuously on a continuous loop basis, right?
No, that's great, Reshma, because I think what you really covered is the three main areas about why customer success is so important. And I love what you talked about as far as alleviating churn. The worst thing to do is to lose a customer, to have them churn because you didn't have a chance to proactively reach out to them and retain that extraordinary relationship. So thank you for that. What we're going to do now is talk about the 5 keys. So you talk about why it's important. Now let's turn to the 5 keys to world-class customer success.
So Bob, there are of course several keys, but these are the 5 that I think are critical for success. And first of all, you need a very strong team to support your customer success program. And it's only the best people who can enable success. We spend a lot of time getting the best salespeople, and then we forget. We forget that they need the same skills to nurture and enable customers to be part of your circle partnership. And we forget that customer success is a revenue and profit driver. So investing in quality individuals to man the team will have a very high ROI. It's not like customer support where it makes sense to drive out cost with technology. Customer success isn't something technology, even AI, can address today. It's being used for customer support, but you don't want to use AI to reach out to your customers. I certainly don't want anyone calling me and trying to nurture me, and it's an AI or a bot. I'm not sure the world will be comfortable doing that, interacting like that for many, many years. It's the human factor that creates this customer relationship, or at least today. As you know, even you may use all the email campaigns and the bots that you want in the initial stages of selling, but it's eventually the voice on the phone, the face-to-face meeting that closes a deal, that finally culminates a deal. So I don't see this technology playing a very big role in this. And secondly, the team needs to be empowered. They should have the training, the resources, the education to be empowered to ensure customer success. And of course, right from the beginning, you need to build a very strong onboarding process. A well onboarded customer minimizes support needs and optimizes success. It ensures, you have to ensure that there's integration between sales and services. Everybody knows what they're supposed to do, the expectations are set, and there are no gaps. And therefore, you need to have a very structured process, onboarding process that's known by your team as well as the customer. And the plan must improve usage and competency and eliminate false starts. Those are all very critical things. And of course, it needs to be very regular, proactive.
So Reshma, before we go on to the next point, I think the point you're making about AI, I think is really important for our audience.
Yes.
I could imagine while companies are going to be looking at deploying AI throughout their company in different areas, customer support and customer service may be an area where they look at that supplementing what they have today. But your point I think you're making is the graduating to a customer success and customer expansion program really changes the dynamics in terms of being a revenue generation engine for the company and being able and really being able to drive the additional upsell, cross-sell program that is beneficial for all companies.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's not something that technology by itself is going to do for you.
True, absolutely.
Great
That's
point.
why I'm saying that there is a lot of talk about AI right now, but I don't see that happening in customer success. You can have AI doing some of the initial support functions, but even there, you can't continue before you get a human being involved.
Correct.
And main thing, Bob, is that with customer success, the contact has to be maintained on a regular, proactive basis. Remember, we are trying to maximize satisfaction before any issue arises. In fact, I recommend quarterly or annual business reviews with your customers. And while some firms might be able to have quarterly reviews with all their customers, a lot of them will need to classify their client base into A, B, and C, depending on size and need, and then have a review schedule that aligns with that breakdown. So depending on the size, for example, your largest customer that's contributing to your highest revenue may warrant a monthly review. Somebody giving them a call to find out how things are going, if everything is hunky-dory, whether they are unhappy about something, if there are any management changes, so that you're aware immediately if some new person has come on board. I mean, we all know that companies are very quick to change. If you're not happy with one product, one service, and nobody knows who the original seller was, they may know the name of the company, but they're not in touch with somebody in the company. A new guy might come and he may decide to switch. And then who knows, your product, if it's a software product, becomes shelfware. If it's a non-software product, they go and replace it. So you don't want that from happening. You want someone to be proactively aware of management changes, of changes in the decision makers, so that the minute the new person comes in, you get yourself introduced, you get in the door, you start talking to them, start seeing if they need any extra training, and help them ease into their jobs.
That's so important. These reviews are really intriguing, Reshma. Can you share with our audience today what goes into the review?
Bob, I recommend a 3-step approach. First, review the customer's goals for the upcoming period. These could be directly related to your offering, or it could be something just in general, their their business goals in general. Obviously, it's best to link your offering to these goals in some way. Your team may want to have a pre-call with the customer to ensure that all are clear on these clients' goals so that you can, help them along. They feel like you're part of their team. Second, you want to review the current relationship, the current client's current usage, any issues or concerns, and our goal will be to align their usage to support their goals. So when there are gaps, there are different usage patterns or solutions that could better support their goals, you want to bridge those gaps. And Bob, you and I both talked about the opportunity to upsell and cross-sell. That's what happens. If you know there are gaps, you get an opportunity. You walk in that door. Maybe you can, Bob, you can tell a few stories when you've done this before.
Well, it's interesting, Reshma, because I think one of the most important takeaways is these quarterly or annual business reviews you're talking about, because we did that recently with a client that provides document management solutions to a variety of industries. And what's interesting is that company has been doing this a number of years, like many that are attending today's webinar. And you add new customers, you continue to add new customers as they did, but they hadn't systematized a program to go back and review and do quarterly or business reviews. So what we did is we started an annual business review for all of their customers. The team set up all the appointments. The agendas happened with the decision makers. In fact, new people were brought to the table. And what was interesting is that these customers, their customers, appreciated the opportunity to have this annual business review because it got them an opportunity to share their goals, like you said, on an annual basis for the upcoming period. It also gave them an opportunity to understand who this company is, because a lot of times when you sell a customer, if it goes for a number of years, they understand who you were, not who you are. So it's an updated view, as you discussed, which is really important. But most importantly, out of these quarterly business reviews, it was creating a path forward. So the path forward always led to additional training or additional expansion within the use of the solution, but it also led to new opportunities. So after they put this practice in place, these ABRs, as you call them, annual business reviews, they were able to increase over this last year their revenue by 20% just through that. Which, by the way, I think is fantastic when you're thinking about if the economy is slowed, where do you get additional revenue sources? This is a great way to get additional revenue from right underneath your nose, which is your customers. So that was a great opportunity to use what you're talking about, Reshma, and put it in practice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No,
and Bob, this is during the review process, you want to be sure and review any recent planned upgrades, releases, and enhancements to your own offering. Mm-hmm. There may be something here that the customer is interested in. And I would recommend that, if you can, share your product roadmap, because it really keeps the customer engaged. They feel that you're sharing that stuff in confidence because you're sharing it before you're releasing that or making that big announcement. And a lot of companies, of course, do that, but others don't. So it's important that the success person takes this forward with the customer and doesn't wait for a salesperson to do that, right?
It's exactly right. You mentioned these first four, and I know we're going to talk about the fifth one in a second, but one of the things that I look at is a lot of executives are trying to run a data-driven company today. There's a lot of data that's important. There's a lot of information or KPIs that they're thinking about. So how does that apply in terms of the customer success program that you're talking about, Reshma?
Bob, that's the final metric, right? In order to have a world-class customer success program, you need to leverage data rigorously. It's important to define, track key metrics such as the Net Promoter Score, the Customer Effort Score, or the Customer Satisfaction Score. it's important to track things like the retention rate, churn rate. And not only track these things, you really need to use that data to drive insights. We all have data, but a lot of people forget that they have to analyze it and implement it and change behavior. Are you meeting your targets? Are the metrics improving or degrading? And if you're not meeting your targets, what is it that you can do with all the information you've gathered? What is it that, and therefore data becomes a very critical thing in improving um, your own product, your own service, and an opportunity, like you said, to cross-sell, upsell.
That's great. So those are really 5 keys. Those are excellent keys that you just went through. Reshma, maybe we can spend a few moments now with our audience and share with them a little bit about your company and how do you help these clients achieve customer success in terms of their efforts.
Sure, great. That's great, Bob. Let me first give you a brief intro into my Customer 360. It's a customer success management company, and we've been helping businesses improve customer satisfaction and to increase revenue. In fact, our team is made up of experts who've been doing customer success for a while. And we always take a consultative approach to working with our clients. We are committed to providing these solutions to meet your unique business goals. In fact, we have a history of helping customers improve their revenues. As you know, the parent company of Customer 360 is Markable Solutions. And we've always been generating leads, supporting the VP of sales and the VP of marketing in getting leads of many kinds. And we are experts at calling your prospects, setting appointments, using that opportunity to create awareness. And we are using those same skills now, Bob, into calling your customers and keeping them engaged, nurturing them, scoring them, making sure that they are satisfied. So when comes time to renew, comes time to buy or cross-sell something else, you can easily sail in smoothly. And Bob, when we do these customer success programs, we do it for companies who have one in place or those who don't. So suppose you don't have a program in place. So suppose you have a program in place. What do? Customer 360 can act as a force multiplier. We can simply give you more resources to work with. Effectively enlarging your team is in a cost-effective way. Or many firms have highly technical offerings, and their customer success team needs to have highly specialized skills. So for a client like that, what we can do is make these technical resources more effective by reducing the time they spend on simple tasks that don't require the specialized knowledge. That's where the nurturing, the relationship building comes in. And we do that very skillfully till it's time to get a highly skilled individual involved. So you don't waste money on having the skilled individuals who are really not meant for nurturing or being in contact with clients that much. You save them for the time when you really need them. And suppose you don't have a customer success program in place, which is what we are finding more and more, because as you know, this is something relatively new. People have been so wrapped up doing customer support and customer service, they don't know what customer success would mean. In fact, we know of companies where we walk in and they say, well, we haven't figured out our success strategy because we don't know whether it should lie with customer support and service, whether it should be with marketing because they are the ones who know how to talk to customers, or whether it should be with sales. Now, all these departments are not so worried about providing success. They are more in their little hole where they are providing the service, and that is over, they're done with. Or they're selling something, they're done with. Or they're generating leads and they're done with it. So customer success is now emerging to be an own department of its own. And more we find customer success VPs and C-level individuals to whom we are trying to, sell to always. They become our prospects. So if you don't have a customer success program in place, we can offer a customer success program in a box. We are experts at putting together programs that meet various needs.
So Reshma, that's great. You can address the needs of everybody that's attending our webinar today. Those that have a program and they're looking for the force multipliers, you talk about it, and those that don't, they're looking for a best practices way to get started. So when you think about the next step that somebody could take out of this process, what would that be?
Bob, we have found that the best way to begin with a new client with Customer 360 is with our Quick Start program. And this is designed to offer clients a very rapid time to benefit without a large investment. We essentially want to be able to prove quickly to our clients what this whole business of customer success can do for them, our ability to add value. The program lasts about 45 days and it includes goal setting, which is very critical. Why do you want to have a customer success program? What is your goal? Then training them, doing an initial customer outreach and engagement, and then doing an assessment. It's an assessment period with the option of continuation or expansion after that. So we want to assess where you are right now and what you really need to do to get where you should be, to get your net promoter score high, to get all your scores high. And it's a very quick and easy way to get all of this in a 45-day period. And then you decide whether you want to proceed on your own or you want to do it with us. We've had several clients who start with the engagement. They're unsure how we would work with them, how they will work with us, because we have our facilities in Manila and in India. So they're worried about how the whole process would work offsite and all of that. And then they quickly buy into the program. The 45-day is not a huge investment of time on their end. And sometimes the assessment is done to assess their own program, which is in-house, and they quickly learn what else they can do to improve themselves. And sometimes we get engaged. And for us, it's both win-win, because I'm really passionate about this whole customer success piece, and I think everyone should have it.
I love that. I love hearing your passion come through. So let's go ahead and move to the next area if we could, Reshma. So appreciate really hearing from you as far as those 5 best practices for customer success. For everybody that's attending today, please go ahead and post your questions for Reshma, and we'll make sure we cover that in the next section. But I'd just like to recap, where have we been and where are we right now? So Risha talked, really a good point was about customer success. Why is it important for your company? And really talked about the difference between customer service and support and customer success. She also walked through the 5 keys for a great customer success program. And then as an enabler, she talked about how my Customer 360 really enables that customer success program for you and how to get started. I love the 45-day program because, like you said, it's a great way to get started. It's a great way to show time to benefit. And it's a great way to make the most as far as a collaboration and prove the model out as you move forward with the company. So I think it's a fantastic offer for everybody that's joining our webinar today. So what I'd like to do at this point is let's go ahead and let's turn our cameras back on if we could, Reshma. And
Sure.
what we'd like to do now is open this up for questions from our audience. And let's use the time to get through as many questions as we can for the audience.
Absolutely.
So everybody on our call today, if you would like to post your questions to the chat in the question area, then love to get those questions and get through as many as we can. But let's start off with a couple questions. This is the first one, and this is from Mary. Mary's question for you, Reshma, is what should I expect to prove in the 45-day Quick Start program?
Bob, what will you get out of it? Well, you will learn to see the program in action. You will realize the benefits from it. You will know that we are good partners. You'll eliminate the risk of providing, of having invested in a larger organization and not having known what the goal should be, how the whole setup should be. And you will get a lot of insights into your own customers, into what they are doing, what they think of you. And it is, but for me, the best thing is that one should be setting your goals, and we can help you do that. You have to determine your goals, really, and we can do it. Your goal could be retention, for example. You're losing customers, they are not staying on with you. We can work on that. How do you make them stay on with you? Through the success program. You will realize that you don't know how to score, how to do your scoring. You don't know your score, and we can set up the scoring system for you. And that could be a very realistic point for you to start improving your score. How do you make it happen? Your goal could be to upsell. You need to increase your revenue. We all need to increase our revenues. So rather than constantly getting new clients, why not work with the clients that you have and work with them to engage them further? And there are many other goals that you can have, and we will help you figure that out.
That's great. Here's our next question, Reshma, and this one is from Jennifer. Jennifer wanted to know, can you help us determine what goals we should have with our customer success program?
So, Bob, you're the best person to answer that.
Well, the answer is yes. Obviously, I think it's a great question because, I think as you've said over and over again today, it's about strategy, right? Yeah. And if you set up the right strategy for your customer success program, then you can execute that. And yeah. What's great about Markable Solutions in the years that we've been working together is that you not only help people with strategy, but you also help them implement the strategy. And you're authentic in terms of having a passion for this to really help them ensure that the team represents their company, their brand, their aspirations, their goals. And I think that's really important because it's not about just strategy and it's not just about execution. It's about having the right resources as you went through the 5 areas of success and putting those in place for companies. Yeah. Here is another question, and this one is from, looks like from Matt. Matt says, what customer sat program do you recommend?
So like I mentioned, Bob, there is the net promoter score, and the others. What I would recommend is the net promoter score. It's the easiest to implement and gives you the best bang for the buck, because you learn what your detractors are saying, what the customers are happy with. And once you have that score, you can repeatedly do a survey again and again to see where you are. And it's a good score. I've noticed that our clients feel very happy when the score goes up, and they see all the results falling out of it, because it really means retaining customers, being able to resell, being able to keep your customers happy. So when you go back and then less expense with customer service and support. The whole point is to lower that. Because like I said, a customer that's engaged with support is already a customer at risk. You may lose them anytime.
That's right.
So why do you want them? If you can keep your NPS score high, you'll be in good shape. You won't be in danger of losing your clients, at least.
Yep. Great point. I look at one of the best things that people can walk away with. Well, actually, there's quite a few things, quite frankly, but one of the best is establishing a benchmark. In many cases, you may not know where the benchmark is with your customer satisfaction that customers have. And so just establishing that benchmark, because it's hard to improve in your position if you don't even have a benchmark. And you've just really talked through and walked through the QBR ABR program, which is the way you engage now that you have a benchmark. It's the way you engage to improve not only the revenue per customer, but also the customer sat.
Yes, I should have mentioned that. For benchmarking, these scores are very critical because it's dangerous because it points fingers at yourself. But it's very important to do it. It's a poison pill. You must do it so that you know what else you can do to improve yourself.
Exactly. Let's get time for one more question if we could. And this one is from Matt. Might be a second question here, but Matt wanted to find out what's the investment or cost for the Quick Start program?
Oh, that's a difficult question, Bob, because it all depends on how many customers you have, how large a company you are. But to give you a starting point, I would say 7,500 for a basic program. And depending on how large you are, how many customers you have, how many months you want to be engaged with in this program, we would suggest that you start at 7,500.
That's good. Here's another question, Rishma. The question is, what would be a good process or steps for migrating a CS team from customer service TM expectations to a proactive model? So taking people
Bob,
from
the best.
Yep. I'm sorry, taking people from that reactive model to the proactive model.
Yeah. So it's a very important question. A lot of times the customer success people are hesitant to pick up the phone proactively and call a client. It takes a different set of skills to proactively reach out. That is why we are so good at it, because we are calling people all the time, sometimes making a nuisance of ourselves. But this time we are calling customers who are happy to hear from us. And of course, implementing customer service and using those resources to implement your customer success program is very doable, extremely doable. But you do need to actively train them. You need to actively educate them that they are not always promoting the product. They are actually building a relationship, nurturing the client, and at the same time, in a subtle way, selling.
Yeah, that's good.
So they're actually halfway there because they're familiar with the product, they're familiar with the service that you're providing. So if you can bridge that gap and teach them how to teach them some selling skills, marketing skills, they would make a perfect customer success individual.
That's great. Here's another question. The question is, how many people are assigned to our company if I sign up for the 45-day program? Do you help us with MQL lead scoring too, or just the NPS, CES, and CSAT?
So it will, like I said, it's all an individual customized process that we follow. We'll sit with you and realize what your goals will be. No 45-day program is the same. It depends on, we have certain things that we do to get you and to sort of assess your situation, but what you want out of it will change. So if you want us to change over from customer success to from customer service to success, we can do that. If you want MQLs, you want other kinds of leads or something, then it's a different thing. And MQL would be part of the marketing programs.
Yeah, that's good. Dorothy had a question about the 5 keys to world-class customer success. And so, Dorothy, what we'll do is we'll send those slides over to you so you can see those slides.
Okay, sure, absolutely. These slides will be available for anyone who wants it, and we will be happy to share it. I know it's been recorded.
That's good. Yeah, and having this recorded, I think, is fantastic. So just in terms of next things that we'll do for everybody that's joining our webinar today, We will have a recording of the webinar. We will have the slides, as Reshma said, and we'll make sure that we make that available to you after the webinar. We also want you to obviously talk with us about any questions you have as far as the Quick Start program. It's a great way to get started. It's a great way to move forward. And then finally, we'll be reaching out to you if you'd like to start up a conversation with Reshma and talk about customer success. You may have a program today where you're looking at evaluating the program and how you can improve it, or you may be looking for customer success in a box, the program that Reshma talked about, which she'd be happy to take over to your house in the next hour. So just let us know what's of interest to you. We want to make sure that we're going to be doing a good job responding to your needs after today's webinar. So, and just there's a third person I'd like to introduce too, which is Dale McConnell. Dale is the Chief Revenue Officer for the company, joining Reshma and I today. And Dale will also be following up with you, as well as members of our team, to see if it makes sense to set up an appointment. There's Dale. And,
hi, Dale.
Hi, Dale. You're on mute.
You're on mute.
But that's okay.
I'm not any longer. Reshma, Bob, thank you very much. Audience, the response to this webinar has been frankly overwhelming. When Reshma and I first talked about how we wanted to do this, my plan was to follow up with all the attendees individually. That may be impossible because there's so many of you. So if I could ask, I will do my best to follow up with you over the next week or so. But if you're interested in speaking with Reshma or me, just please send a text. My personal cell phone is 408-655-6825. Again, my name is Dale, and my personal cell phone is 408-655-6825. All your text needs to say is my customer 360, customer success, Dale, let's talk, webinar, something like that. And then I'll be glad to put you to the top of the list and reach out to you individually. I look forward to speaking with all of you. Again, there's so many of you over the next few days.
Thanks, Dale.
Yeah, and of course you can always email him.
Exactly. And like we said, we will be reaching out to everybody after the webinar. So
Yeah.
we appreciate this. Extraordinary attendance, extraordinary group for all of us to have you join us today. And Reshma, thank you very much for being our guest speaker today and sharing your knowledge and wisdom on customer success. It's really important. And of course,
thank you, Bob.
It helps that I know you for 20 years too, so that one of the things I really did talk earlier about is the integrity and the desire to serve you. So if you decide to engage with Markable Solutions in my Customer 360 program, you're going to get the best of the best working for you today to actually help move the ball forward in customer success. So thank you, Dale. Thank you, Reshma. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you here. And on behalf of Reshma, Dale, and myself, and the entire Markable Solutions team, thank you very much for joining us. And we look forward to following up with you and helping you on your customer success journey.
Thank you all. Thank you, Bob. It was a pleasure.